Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dan from UnitedQ. It's Wednesday, which means we have another awesome podcast to get you over hump day. I'm here with my co-host, BBQForte.
Hello.
And we are brought to you by ProQ and BBQ Gourmet, our awesome sponsors. ProQ is dedicated to providing you with quality smoking products with top-notch service and free advice for beginners to pitmasters. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram under ProQ Smokers. So if you're thinking about buying your first smoker or looking to upgrade or even looking to pick up some epic accessories, check them out over at Max Barbecue. And BBQ Gourmet is devoted to promoting real barbecue and supplying the UK and Europe with the top championship-winning barbecue rubs, sauces, marinades and accessories from the United States and around the world. And you can find them on Twitter and online under BBQ Gourmet. Regardless of how you cook, whether it's on charcoal, wood, gas or electric, the real taste of barbecue can be yours all year round. So guys, on today's show we've got Luke Shemilt. Hello, Luke.
Hi guys, you alright?
Yeah, how you doing? Thanks. Could you just give a brief introduction for yourself, please, Luke?
Yeah, so my name's Luke. I'm based in Frontfield, which is a town between Sheffield and Chesterfield. I run King Brisket Time. I've been running it for a little over a year now. King Brisket Time's a mobile street food and event catering barbecue business. I'm looking to expand it at the moment, but it's been a fun year, really, getting established and, from very humble beginnings and still learning the trade and still trying to develop, but come on, we'll just have a chat about how I've done it, and hopefully I can give some people some advice if it's something that any of the listeners want to get involved with.
Awesome. So what inspired you to want to start that up in the first place?
I think it's probably like everybody really, an interest in barbecue. I first did one of the Weber courses when they were based down in Oxford in about June 2014. And it was a full day just barbecuing, just cooking, real good introduction to low and slow barbecue, which I knew something about before, but I'd never really seen it done on a semi-professional level. And going on a day where it was beer and barbecue. But yeah, fancy a bit of this really for a living. So
we all fancy a bit of that.
Yeah, can't beat it. So it goes alongside the day job at the moment. I'm a teacher full time, but weekends. Doing this, and that's until the summer, and then it'll be a living.
So what do you teach?
I teach business studies.
Cool. Awesome.
Hopefully I've picked up a few things teaching over the last few years that I can put into practice now. And
so he knows how to start up a business. He's taught many people how to do a business startup. So now he's off to try it himself.
That's the one. That's absolutely it.
Cool.
It's a bit different when it's for yourself though, and the risks involved, but it's good fun.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a bit then, because you've got the business startup idea of this barbecue company. What do we do? What's the first stage of deciding between coming from the world of just cooking at home and feeling like you want to dabble within the real world and start producing either a pop-up restaurant or what do you do, like a catering company? So what's the first stage of venturing out into the real world?
Well, I mean, for me, really, it's been. I started with. Like most of the people listening, I imagine, with a kettle, and then I got a gas barbecue and I got a smoker. And my setup is a really, really simple setup. Really, I just take out a gazebo if I need it, and a few tables, some basic barbecue equipment, some cooking equipment, and just get out there really and start to actually, start cooking. I think one of the things I've found though is that when you first start thinking about it, you want to get involved with events, you want to get involved with festivals, street food. You start looking into it and the costs involved actually start mounting up really, really quickly. So my starting point was going around to local businesses and just speaking to them. Pubs, sporting teams, the craft beer shop just down the road from me, a bottle shop. I went in there, they just started up. He said he wanted to put on some barbecues and things in the summer, and that was before I'd even mentioned anything to him. So I think something like that is a really, really good starting point. Just get out there with a local community, get involved with them, speak to people, and you soon find that there's a demand for it. And I think even if you are just an enthusiastic backyard cook, that you can actually start to do it on a commercial level, a really small-scale commercial level, fairly easily. And I think for all people listening, if you're listening to a barbecue podcast, you've obviously got an enthusiasm for it, you've got a bit of a passion for it, and if you want to take it on to that next level, that's what I'd recommend. Before splashing out a load of money on new equipment, or spending money on the fees for festivals or events, just speak to people in the local area, and you soon find that they want people because it helps them. And also from that, I mean, I've got loads of jobs from that, birthday parties, and it's from customers, from people who've just been along, tasted the food, and it does snowball from there.
So step one's like establishing yourself and getting your name out there, getting people to know what you do.
Using the local community to do that quite a lot sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So then from there, how do we go about, like, we're used to cooking, like maybe we do a pork shoulder at home for the family. How do you turn that into suddenly producing that for maybe 100 people, 150 people?
Yeah, I mean that's the big challenge I faced really. I mean, fairly soon after starting, I was getting quotes for 100. I got a quote for a party of 100, and then at night another 50. And that's the daunting thing. But I think if you're clever with, sort of your pork shoulder, your pulled pork, you can cook that whilst that's resting. You can get your briskets on. You can juggle them. And I've spent more money. I've got extra smokers now. But also, it's just being clever with your timing, thinking about your recipes. Can you do it a little bit faster? Can you do a bit of a hot and fast pulled pork if you need to? Can you cook them, freeze them, and then reheat them? It's actually, I found when you do that, at first I wasn't keen on that idea, but then with something like pulled pork, if you just take it off, freeze it, you can take it out and reheat it really, really well, and it's just as good as when it came fresh off the smoker.
Yeah, I find pork shoulders like really forgiving, so you can actually tend to cook it a little bit. You could ramp up the temperature a little bit, and it doesn't tend to affect it that much if you are lagging on time. And yeah, like you said, I mean, I've not done it on a commercial scale, but sometimes, I mean, like a 5 kilo pork shoulder is way too much for me and the missus. So
you still manage it, though.
Still manage it, yeah. Still always do the cook, but at the same time, I then like to have loads left over, for instance, and I'll always freeze some up and reuse, and it does tend to come out quite well sometimes. I don't always do that, but that has been something I've done in the past year.
Yeah. So I think pork shoulders are a great one. Brisket I won't be keen on doing. I know people who have done it, and I think people say it does come out well, but I do like to cook the brisket fresh, pull that off, and rest it for a couple of hours in an insulated cool box, and just keep it nice and warm for a couple of hours, and have that pretty much ready to go. But I think there's other things you can do that you can do a little bit in advance, and maybe pull out the kettle and just do some pit beans on there, or there's ways around it. But I think at first that's the problem. I think that's why you start small. You start. I was catering for 40. Planning for 40, and you can do that no problem really. I think if you fix that a big brisket, pork shoulder aside, that'd do 40. If you found it on an event, a small event, but then you can start to ramp it up after that. 60, 80. It does become a little bit of a challenge, but then after that, I think even if you're doing 100 or 200, the fundamentals are the same. It's just the base you've got to cook the things on.
Yeah. So what do you do when it comes to pricing your products? Then how do you calculate it based on what it costs, and you just add a percentage, or are you working out over time how long it's taking, or what's the best route to go down to planning pricing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll just do it where I add a percentage, but I like to keep most of my mains the same price, and then you might have a side or some slightly smaller mains a little bit cheaper. I mean, something like a brisket, which I serve with brioche with homemade slaw, homemade barbecue sauce, homemade pickles. I charge £5 for that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not actually making too much on that. It's not. When you think about the overheads involved, and you think about the actual price of brisket, so you're not making a massive amount. Something like a pulled pork, you make a little bit more. It's something like mac and cheese, which goes down really, really well. I might charge £3 for that, but actually the cost involved in making it are fairly low. So I think with something like the brisket, you're not making the money there. You're making most of the money on the other items, the sides especially. If you do a hot dog, do a good quality hot dog, the cost involved is very, very low. But if you smoke it, you add the sides, add a little bit of something extra to it, you can charge a little bit more money for it. I was a bit worried when I first started up, to be honest, about my prices, thinking, will anybody pay £5 for this? People do. People are absolutely willing to pay it. I think people see it's good quality.
I think people now are more than ever are willing to pay money for a good quality product, for local meat, particularly for local produce, to support like an actual sole trader business, a local business. People are willing to spend that little bit more, reach into their pocket to support these sort of things. So
I'd almost go to work saying I personally wouldn't probably spend less than £5 on something. I'd think if it was less than that, it's not going to be worth.
Yeah, the meat's not going to be good quality. The procedures to get it there aren't going to be great and stuff like that. Are you cooking over charcoal? Are you now, have you moved to like a pellet sort of smoker or anything, or what are you cooking on?
It's all charcoal at the moment. I've got a couple of Smoky Mountains in back garden.
Okay.
So I'll cook them on.
Cool. Well, that's another thing that basically that keeps your costs up as well, because cooking on charcoal and is always going to be more expensive than a pellet smoker. So that's something else that I think that a lot of people maybe don't understand. I personally vote charcoal every day of the week, not to cause enemies there, but I vote charcoal every day of the week, and I think that again that does keep your costs up. So yeah, you really have got to sort of work that into your price, and yeah, I think that going that extra mile and putting that effort in, when especially on your sort of scale, that you should be able to charge for it, and I'm willing to pay for that.
Yeah, I mean the other thing about charging that price is I'm always more than willing to talk through my recipes, talk through the processes involved. People realise now I've got a lot of regulars at some of these events, and they realise I've probably had a sleepless night, because I've been up throughout the night seeing to the meat, and just they realise the work that's gone into it, which it's not intensive as such, but it's just that checking on it, keeping on temperatures. You might have a probe in and the alarm goes off and it wakes you up in the middle of the night. That kind of time that goes into it, like I say, the quality of the meat, the rubs, it's all. I've taught people through that. I think when people see that, they're prepared to pay it, they want to pay it, they want to come back. And I think they see when you go into a supermarket and it's a pre-packaged backpack, big pack of pulled pork for £5, or they start to question that. And I've had people come back to me now and say, I would rather pay the price for what I feel is a good quality product, just as a treat. And hopefully from that as well, people do it themselves. I'm all about that. I'm all about people doing it themselves, and I'm willing to share the ideas. I've actually got a barbecue course. I'm doing some courses myself coming up. I think the more enthusiastic people get about it, the better for people like myself, because people want to come and try something good, high quality.
And yeah, you were saying about you being able to sort of back up with recipes and procedures, like to back up your pricing and stuff. I actually went to a place called the Pig and Pallet, which is a fairly new barbecue restaurant in Topsham in Devon, where we're both from. And actually on the back of there was, as like a supplementary, I suppose, for their menu, was actually like a piece of paper justifying their prices, which I felt was a bit unnecessary. But I suppose that's from me, who comes from the barbecue world, who knows the costs associated with good meats and actually producing that sort of food and the rubs and everything else that comes with it. So they actually had like a supplementary sort of piece of paper that came with the menu that justified their prices, and sort of said, well, if you think this is expensive, this is because blah 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 blah. And basically they pinpointed every single product on their menu down to sort of like a 10-mile radius of like local farm shops and everything, which I think is great, but I thought it was probably unnecessary. But then again, I suppose they probably obviously had questions asked of their prices for them to do it. So yeah, I guess that's sort of a great way to combat that is by knowing your menu, knowing your recipes, knowing your procedures, and being able to actually, hey, this is why it costs this much, because actually by the time I do this, a bag of charcoal, the wood, everything like that, actually I'm not making very much money from it at all. So here you go. Here's a great product, and you should be willing to pay for it.
That's absolutely right, yeah. I think one of the places I do a lot of my events, just down the road, you can get 2 for £10, 2 main meals for £10, and those sort of pubs. I think, well, they can do a rack of ribs for £5. You do start to worry a little bit about what's happening with it, and I know it's on the scale that they're doing it to get the economy scale and everything like that. But I want to establish myself as being knowledgeable, approachable, like you say, a sort of sole trader, a person who rocks up with a estate car, unloads the barbecues out the back. That's the sort of difference, I think, between when you do it on a massive scale and when you're doing it as something that you're passionate about.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ribman, for instance. Ribman started off on just rocking up at local London markets with doing some ribs, and I mean, and you can watch all the videos on him doing it, and look at him now. I mean, people from all over the world are communicating with him on social medias, and when they're in London, they're going to Brick Lane to try Ribman's pulled pork sandwiches. So it's it's crazy. It's like a. And can you ever imagine him originally thinking that it really was going to be this big, or that he was really going to take over in that sort of way, or whatever? And now he's got actual sort of permanent shops that sell all of his sort of sauces. There's one of the stations that we were at. Actually, there was a Ribman sort of shop that was selling his rib rolls and sauces and stuff. So he's really smashed it and started off from a similar position as you, which is awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah, and I think you have to admire people like that, and it's great for barbecue, isn't it? In this country, that people are doing that. It's great that people are out there and making a success of it, and getting the following that he has.
Yeah, you mentioned a second ago about selling your sides and stuff and different pricing for them. You mentioned mac and cheese in there. We've been playing around with mac and cheese recipes ourselves. I was on our podcast a little while ago. Who is it we spoke to? We got the sodium. What's it called? Sodium
citrate. Sodium citrate, and that was Danny Hawk from Bristol Drum Smokers.
Yeah, and we've been playing around with that to try out different recipes for mac and cheese. Have you got your recipe for mac and cheese that you could share with us?
Yeah, I mean, I've taken mine from a couple of different places actually, and again, it's playing about with it, but it's good fun to play about with these recipes, and I listen to my customers and see what they think of it. But I mean, mine, it starts off with a simple roux, butter and flour, milk mixed into it. So that's very standard white sauce. I'll go with some cheddar, and I'll just keep going until it's thick. Some parmesan, garlic powder, mustard powder, and I'll sometimes put in a teaspoon of fresh mustard as well, just the Coleman's mustard, just to give it a bit of an extra kick. I like to put in some cream cheese, and really indulge a bit of double cream as well, just to make it really thick,
creamy.
Really, yeah.
I also feel like the Coleman's gives it a nice little colour element as well, gives it a bit more of a yellow tinge that sometimes you lose when you're rearing up and you then add in the cheese and stuff. It gets a bit white sometimes, so I feel like Coleman's or like a bit of red Leicester or something gives it back a bit of yellowness, which is nice.
Definitely for that colour. If you want it nice when it's baked, and I do bake it. Put some breadcrumbs on top as well, and I often put in some bacon, get some nice crispy bacon. Mix that in. At Christmas, I was doing some Christmas ham I'd smoked, mix all that in, and then I rock in the smoker, which I've not heard of many people doing, but I put it in the smoker for a couple of hours when the smoker's starting to cool down, and it picks up the smoke really, really nicely, and I think when I've passed that around at work a couple of days after I've made it, if I've got any left over, it's always going out brilliantly, even a bit later. So it does just give it a bit of something different. It's just a nice finishing touch.
So are you often taking in your food to work to share it with people?
Not necessarily to share, but just to show off. I believe you've got some food there, aren't you, today?
Yeah, we always have barbecue Mondays where we share all of our food that we've cooked over the weekend. We generally eat it in the morning because we can't wait, but today we've had a pretty hectic day. We haven't got around to it, so we've got quite a spread just here in the studio at the moment, which we're going to try and maybe eat whilst we're going on the show, but it's quite hard to eat and talk at the same time. So
yeah, I've been a bad man. I didn't really get out to barbecue much over the weekend. Friday night, I did some short ribs, which was great. They turned out amazing. I did them hot and fast, which was a fairly new thing for me over the last couple of weeks, but they turned out absolutely epic. But then I woke up Saturday feeling really, really ill, and I actually got a call from a butcher's on the Friday night saying he's got some short ribs, and I went in there and I ended up buying half the shop. So currently sat in the fridge, I've got a whole sort of whole lamb shoulder. I've got 2 pork bellies. I've got some marrow bones. I've got some sausages and
When are you going to cook
all
that?
this stuff that I was planning on cooking this weekend, and just sort of the weekend disappeared on me. I didn't manage to leave the sofa, so it's not been a great weekend of cooking. And actually, I haven't managed to contribute anything to Barbecue Monday. But luckily,
I've got quite a spread here.
Luckily, the partner in crime, BBQForte, was out there and brought quite a nice spread for me. So we've got some experimental Scotch eggs.
Yeah.
Some was that a peach cobbler?
Apple.
An apple cobbler / crumble.
Yeah.
We've got some beef.
Yeah.
Tell them about your beef. Your beef's quite interesting.
Yeah, the beef. We haven't done this before. I just sort of came up with the idea. I was making the Red's True Barbecue South Carolina mustard barbecue sauce.
And that recipe's in their book, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in the Red's book. It's one of my favourite books, actually. And so I always buy it normally just off the shelf in the supermarket, but I thought the bottle was getting empty. I'd have a go at making it myself. So I made up this South Carolina mustard.
Which actually tastes really similar to the one you buy from the shelves, exactly the same. Yeah. So I definitely, if you're into that one, I think it's a great sauce actually. And I think that's worth definitely trying.
So I coated the beef with that, and then a bit of salt and pepper as well. Then I stuck like panko breadcrumbs all over the outside of it, and then just sprinkled some like mixed dried herbs, and then stuck that into the Kamado Joe and cooked it for about 3 hours. So it was about 160 F, and then just wrapped it for an hour, and that was our roast dinner yesterday. It smells really good still now.
And tell us about the Scotch egg, because you had a bit of experiment with the Scotch eggs. You went beefy with them, didn't you? Yeah,
so I did 6 different types of Scotch egg this weekend. Have you done many Scotch eggs yourself, Luke?
I've never done them, no.
No,
I've actually done them.
Got to dabble in the Scotch egg world. So I did 6 of them, and then I blind tested the family to try and find out which one they liked the best. So we did beef mince with like a beef bresaola.
Yeah, bresaola. So that's a cured meat, basically, like a charcuterie cured meat. One of my favourites actually. So we used that. Tried substituting the pork out basically. Yeah. So that was
normally you do this with like a pork mince wrapped in bacon. And we're trying to find like alternatives to the pork. So we did that, and I also tried beef mince with a really, really thin cut of steak. So I just did the thinnest cut of steak. Got the butcher to just cut it off as thin as he could, and then I got a rolling pin and like rolled it out, made it as flat as I could, so I could wrap that around the outside of it. Then I also did one using turkey mince instead. That was pretty nice actually. I was a bit nervous about turkey mince. I didn't think it was going to be lean enough, but the butcher chose
too lean.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I said it the wrong way around. It's too lean. But looking at it, you could see some that good fat inside of it, so it was all right, and it turned out really nice. It wasn't dry at all. So then using the same thing of a thin cut steak and the bresaola wrapped around those, and also just did one then. Had a bit of the turkey mince left over and a bit of the beef mince, but not enough of both. So I just mixed them together and ended up with a combo of turkey and beef mince. And then I just panko breadcrumb that, because I'm obsessed with panko breadcrumbs.
A Berkey Scotch egg.
Yeah.
And what else is that? Is that celeriac remoulade?
Oh yeah, celeriac remoulade. That was
very fancy.
Yeah. Marcus from Country Wood Smoke recommended that to me to go along with his dino turds. So I knocked that up to try it out. It's really nice. Just got grated celeriac, some mustard, some lemon, and some mayonnaise. That's it.
Cool. Awesome.
Cool.
Sounds great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Really,
so
really
we've got it all laid out here on the table, but I don't know if we're going to be able to eat it now, really. So you're talking about what cues you've got in your collection, Luke. Have you got... What did you say? You've got like your Weber Smoky Mountain and your Weber Kettle. Have you got anything else?
Yeah, I'll start off with with those two, and I've got 3 kettles. All Weber kettles. I've got a Smoky Joe, the portable kettle as well, which I find really, really useful actually to take out, and just if you just need to give something a bit of heat, just to use that.
Yeah, I've got one of those as well. They're really good, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and I've got 2 of the Smoky Mountain smokers now, so and then the gas, which I take out mainly just to keep things warm. That's one of the big challenges when you're out, keeping things up to temperature.
Yeah.
Sort of food hygiene. You have to keep it above, in the safe zone, you have to keep it above a certain temperature. If it drops below, that's the juggling. That's the difficult thing. So a gas is great for that, really, just in terms of ramp the heat up quickly, drop it down if you need to. It does just keep things in that zone. But yeah, I love the smokers, love the kettles, and had just my small. I got one a 37 centimetre.
Oh yeah.
A really tiny one.
Hmm.
That was great this weekend. I mean, I was out Saturday. I got back home about 10:30 at night. Took the brisket on overnight. The next day, I had a couple of people coming around, and it doesn't take any lighting really. It keeps the temperature nicely as well. So 7 o'clock next morning out, when it was done, it was just I find that a really, really useful one, and I'll take that out on events as well. So yeah, it's quite a fleet in the garden at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking about where to store them. Got to get myself I've got myself some wood now for a nice little shed, nice little hut to keep them in.
Where'd you get your wood from?
I tend to get wood from my dad, actually. He lives
Okay.
out in the countryside in Derbyshire. So there's always trees being chopped down, and he'll stake a claim for them. So I mainly use oak.
Okay, awesome.
Every time I go down, he tends to have a big bag of oak.
Because your dad chops it, seasons it up for you, and then bags it up for you. What a guy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great, yeah. So
we all wish we had a dad like Luke.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, I'm sure. He's past retirement age now. I keep telling him you could give up. You could give up, Dad. You could do this for a living. There's people want to buy wood, but you don't seem to believe it.
Well, yeah, I actually got some from a company called Smokewood Shack, which is it's a family-run business in the UK that's just sort of starting out, and they're producing some really awesome smoking products. So I got they did this really epic deal, and it was like it was nine bags I got, and they delivered to my house, and I got like a massive variety of different woods that people have been talking about on the show that I've been wanting to try out, like silver birches and stuff like that, which I hadn't had a chance to try smoking with. So I actually put in a big order with him, and they do smoking planks. I saw Kelly Bramwell did got some smoking planks and dust for them and stuff like that, and so I'm finding them they're really interesting. I mean, the product that I got for them, and the service I got for them was absolutely epic. So I got it like literally within 2 days it was there, and I don't think I even ordered it. I think it was like meant to be delivered within like 10 days or something. It was already there, and all the wood that I've smoked with so far has been lovely. So yeah, I would definitely advise to check out Smokewood Shack, guys, if you're looking for wood. And I just wanted to touch on something else that might be one of the sort of key differences between sort of us cooking in the kitchen and then going out into the wider business world. And you were saying about sort of safe temperatures and stuff like that, and the regulations behind that. So how has that affected your cooking, and sort of was that like a big thing for you to change sort of your techniques and stuff, or hasn't it really mattered much? That's sort of like food safety guidelines, I mean.
Yeah, it's not hugely affected me, to be honest. It's probably just opened my eyes a little bit more to it, in terms of thinking about temperatures. When I first started up, straight away, just got in touch with the local council and environment and planning department, and they gave me a call, and said what you're trying to do. Gave me loads of really, really good advice, told me about the best places to look for the food safety management procedures. Fill in a document about that, read through some information. Then the kid just came out to visit the house, and because I run it from a domestic kitchen, I was a bit nervous about what they'd say. But actually, they say that if you just it's like turning a switch on when you go into commercial cooking mode, make sure everything's wiped down, make sure everything's absolutely spotless. Then imagine you're in a commercial kitchen, and they just really talk you through the process of you kind of talk them through what you're trying to do, and they'll give you ideas, they'll give you advice, they'll give you information that you need. So I find that people sometimes see them a little bit scary. Get somebody in to come and give you advice from the local council in case they tell you can't do it. But actually, they're very, very supportive. They will help you. They won't criticise you straight away. They'll try and guide you along how to get something that is safe, something hygienic. Obviously, when you're cooking commercially, you want to cover your own back with everything. You need to make sure everything's documented. You've got your processes absolutely sorted. But it is like flicking a switch and thinking, right, I'm on commercial mode now. But you do find then that it does seep into your everyday cooking. Whenever I'm out overnight now and cooking, I'm thinking about making sure it doesn't drop to a low temperature, and I've got to pull it off now, and I've got to think about putting it in a water. You just get into the zone. You get into the.
So you're not carving your meat on your green chopping board then?
No, not at all. I need some new chopping boards actually. They're getting a bit worn out, but I know that's something they'll pick up. So it's having your coloured boards, having your systems absolutely.
What devices do you use for monitoring your temperatures?
I've got the probes, the Maverick probes.
Oh yeah.
They're really good, but also I've got a couple of digital thermometers that you just poke in to the meat and they straight away get reading out. And you can use that just to, cause you can't, I think one of the things I found out is you've just got one, you don't know how reliable it is. You can calibrate it and make sure it is fairly reliable, but if you're using 2 or 3, it's foolproof. So just using a range of different temperature probes really. And then when you're out at an event, if it is cold, you've got to think about that. You've got to think about getting things back up to safe temperatures. And but that's why I say the gas barbecue does help, because you just use it as a little bit of a more reliable oven in a way.
Okay. So when you're lighting your barbecues out there for an event, do you use a chimney starter, that type of thing, or have you? Yeah. So that's the only sort of downside when you get that big boom of smoke and the neighbours are wondering what's going on. But do you have a few of them there? Do you have a few of your chimney starters ready? Yeah. I've got
a couple of the bigger ones. I've got one of the portable ones. It's about a third of the size. I find that's good for like the minion method. I think when you're doing smoking with a bullet smoker, minion method's a really good way to keep a nice temperature over.
Yeah.
So I use that as quite probably more than the other ones actually, the big ones.
Can you describe what the minion method is for listeners, please?
Yeah, minion method's where you've got your charcoal basket full of charcoal, and the idea is not to light a full chimney of charcoal. You probably light, depending on the size of the barbecue, but between 9 and 15 coals. So you only light a small amount of coals, and then dump those into the unlit charcoal. And the idea with that is it's a low and slow cook. It spreads over time. You add your warmth when you put the meat on, when you start the smoking. But that just means that you've got a bit more control over the temperature. It climbs slowly, and then as it spreads, you should get a longer cook. So I find that is the cooking method I use more than any.
Cool, thank you.
I had a little bit of I saw something in one of the forums that I'm in, and they were using, do you know, like the heat guns that like builders use, like sort of, and they were using those instead of luft lighters. So I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," and just put it out on the Country Wood Smoke forum just to see if anyone in the UK had tried it out. And actually, like loads of people, including like Jackie Waite, the Queen of Barbecue, she uses one herself as well. So they're like a really cool thing to get the charcoal going in a hurry. I always use firelighters and my chimney starter. That's how I start my barbecues up. But there have been times when I've wanted to get it going a little bit quicker and thought one of those luft lighters would have been a cracking thing to have at those times. But they're like 50 quid a pop, I think, the luft lighters. But
we were hoping for something that didn't require electricity as well, weren't we? Because that's the thing, when we're out in the garden, we'd have to run a big extension lead down the garden to use a luft lighter, wouldn't you? Unless
you're lucky enough to have an outdoor kitchen or something like that built specifically for it, which currently me and BBQForte aren't lucky enough to have a fully fledged outdoor kitchen, but we are working on it slowly but surely. But then Duncan Mayer's actually he pitched in a little bit, and he's found one of the...
Is that a cordless one?
Yeah, one of these heat guns, but it's actually battery powered, so he doesn't need a cord or anything. He can actually just be out in the garden wherever he is, and actually has that heat gun there ready to go and start up his charcoal in a hurry, which is awesome. That's I think I'm definitely going to invest in one of those and give it a try.
There's always a gadget you need, isn't there?
Yep. So when it comes to preparing your meats then, do you have many of your own rubs that you make, or do you tend to use commercial rubs or marinades?
I tend to make all my own. Yeah, I've got a huge stack actually of poultry rubs that I made just before Christmas. I did a Christmas party, Christmas market style event, and I think I did 6 turkeys that day. So I made enough rubs for that, and about another 20 as well. So I'm still working through that, and that's doing really, really well on chicken. And that's made it's sugar, salt, 7 or 8 different herbs. I can't even remember what's in it, to be honest. I've got a list, but so yeah, from that one, I did the brisket I did at the weekend. I've been reading the book. I don't think which one it is now, but it's some Texas restaurant, and they're just saying salt and pepper. The Franklin barbecue. Franklin barbecue. And it's just salt and pepper. So I've always added a few extra things to my brisket roast, to be honest. But I just went with salt and pepper, and that was great. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
On the brisket. So I'll probably stick with that again, to be honest.
Yeah, we're both going back to basics a lot with our beef and just trying to go back to just the salt and pepper.
If you're getting good quality beef, you don't really need to do it. It speaks for itself, especially like your muscles, like the short rib, or your cuts like your short ribs and your briskets and stuff, where actually once you've cooked it down and when you get that final product, the actual beef's so tasty, you don't actually need an awful lot for it. So that's what we're finding definitely at the minute is going back to basics and just following the sort of Texas guidelines of salt and pepper. I've actually something I would advise you to try. Ty Mack from Max Barbecue Pro Q. He actually introduced us to their beef rub, which includes sort of a mixture of 5 different types of pepper, and I've actually ordered some. It was like 5 different types of pepper that I ordered from online, and they were all delivered. And actually, like the flavour notes, the difference in different types of pepper is actually like incredible. And actually, once you smash them all down, all the peppercorns down, and mix them with the salt, that basic salt and pepper rub actually then, even though the basic salt and pepper rub is amazing, the different dimensions that those 5 different peppercorns give you are actually incredible on the palate. It was really, really good. So that's really opened up it turned like the basic rub of salt and pepper into like actually an actual advanced salt and pepper rub, and actually even made some of the flavours pop off even more, which was great. Yeah,
that sounds really good. I think what you mentioned there about short ribs, that is something I've always just done, salt and pepper, and I would say that's my favourite custom meat. I think I love short ribs. I often do short rib tacos. I'll just do a few short ribs, chop them up, bit of guacamole on it. Really, really simple. And then like just a corn tortilla, soft corn tortilla, and then just salt and pepper on there. It is amazing. It just
awesome. Sounds lush.
Yeah, that's one for the springtime. Now the sun's coming out. I think it's a really, really nice one. Just a few tacos.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
I've been doing quite a lot of.
Definitely give that a go. Are you taking that up to like sort of pulling temps or?
Just I find with the ribs, I don't tend to go by temperature at all on beef ribs. I just poke them until they're tender, and then just whenever I just tend to chop them up.
Yeah, cool.
I think I saw I think there's like little samples of menus on your website. I think one of the things on there was the beef short rib tacos. I was going to ask you about that, so you've ticked that off.
I think they lasted about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They were sold out. They just they flew off. They did. I'll see those again.
Another one I saw in there looked like a jalapeno cheese cornbread or something like that.
Yeah, I've just had some of that today actually, because I had some left over from last night, and I've just had it on its own for my lunch today. But that's just cornbread, bit of cheese mixed in, jalapeno, and then again just about 350 Fahrenheit, half an hour. You've got a brilliant side, but it's great for a chili. It was chili yesterday, and it was just fantastic with it. Really, really good.
Do you bake your own cornbread, or is that?
Yeah.
Do you have a little short recipe there to hand at all, or could I leave that?
Honest, I googled it today, and I used one I've not used before. Let me have a look. I've got it written down somewhere here.
Yeah.
It's
It's obviously like cornbread's like a real sort of traditional barbecue side, but I actually genuinely going to put my hands up here and open myself up to to be hung, drawn, and quartered. But I haven't actually tried cornbread or made it. So here I am, I put my heart on the line here. So if you could share a cornbread recipe, I'll definitely give it a go.
Yeah, well, I've got on here. It's I'll go through exactly 3 cups of plain flour, a cup of yellow cornmeal, quarter a cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of salt. And then you mix with that 2 cups of milk, 3 large eggs, and half a pound of butter.
Wow.
Which is a little bit frightening. Mix all that together.
No, that's lush.
8 ounces of cheddar. Third of a cup, I thought you can tell it's American recipe, this kind of third of a cup of spring onions, and then 3 tablespoons of jalapeno chopped up. I didn't go with quite that much chili. I tend to have chili sauces out. And if I let go with chili, I tend to put too much in. So but that's then mix it all together, bake it half an hour. You've got a cornbread. It's a really nice side. It's nice enough just to have it on its own. If you've got a chili, something just to use it almost like a dumpling, and just put it on. Chili, it does go well.
How thick does it end up being? Does it rise up much?
Yeah, it does rise. Mine it's probably about 6 centimetres. It rose up to yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a good.
That's quite a nice, quick and easy thing to knock up, then, isn't it?
Yeah. It's something I've not done a huge amount of, to be honest. But I'm always looking out for sides. I think they kind of make a meal, can't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, as you said, they tend to they're a nice little money maker. I mean, you're making bread.
Yeah.
Bread costs absolute pennies to make, and it can be such a fantastic thing, such an absolute staple and a sort of real meal filler. So yeah, if you can be producing sort of cornbread and sticking that on the menu as a side, that can be something that can really bulk out the main course and actually make you some more money.
Absolutely, yeah. I think as well, a lot of the events I do birthday parties and things like that, I'll quote for maybe a couple of meats, and then people want a few sides as well. So it's a really good one for a party if you've got a lot of people coming around, just to put those out.
So when you're not catering, what sort of stuff are you cooking at home for yourself?
I tend to cook virtually anything from this time of year onwards. For myself, a lot of salmon. I like cooking salmon outside. A lot of Mexican, a lot of Tex-Mex. I do quesadillas. I do quite a few. I've started doing a lot of pastrami, making my own pastrami, curing it and making it, or salt beef or bacon. So I tend to make a big batch of that and keep some to one side for myself. So like Reuben sandwich, those kind of things. I'm quite into curing at the moment, just having a go at that. But like I say, the beef short rib tacos, they're something that I tend to go back to quite a lot. Pizzas on the barbecue. They're so easy to do. I think you get better results than you would in your own oven.
Yeah, definitely. Pizzas are awesome outside. That was one of the original things I was really after. I think when I first started in the barbecue world, it was I want to try all these things, but I was ultimately, I just really want to build a pizza oven in my back garden, and I want to strive for the perfect pizza. That's all I was doing. So I was trying all sorts of different things of different pizza stones, and my cousins have built their own pizza ovens in the garden. I was trying those out, so it was trying out different pizzas in all the different places, trying to find the best one.
Yeah, no, they are great. I've always liked to make my own pizzas, but if I do them on the barbecue, that just makes it even better.
Yeah. Are you combining cold smoking with your curing as well?
To be honest, I've not really done a lot of cold smoking. I do the American style bacon where you hot smoke it. I find that works quite well. I would like to get a bit more into cold smoking, but it's just not something I've done too much of.
Yeah, the ProQ CSG, the cold smoke generator, is a really cool little. It's like a little maze unit, and you just literally use sawdust, basically, wood dust, and you can just sprinkle that around. Use a candle on one end, and it burns slowly down and around. Another awesome one to go with is the Amazing Tube. BBQ Gourmet, they sell the Amazing Tube and they sell the pellets for that. Both of those two apparatus, they literally produce no heat at all. So literally, you can cold smoke at any time during the day. And actually, ProQ sell a really cool cold smoking unit, which is it's a cardboard box. Yeah, but the cardboard box. But what they've done is they've sort of created like levels on the inside and like an access point for your cold smoker on the bottom and stuff like that. It's a really cool little unit, and it's something like £25 or something like that. But actually, someone posted something in one of the forums of the week. They've had it for 3 years and 6 months, this cardboard box that they've been using to smoke with, and actually how well it's actually done, and like how much they smoke, and like it's been brilliant. So I could vouch for both because I've used both, so I could definitely vouch for both. I love cold smoke, and I'm really into charcuterie as well, so that's really cool that you're into it. But I'd definitely give the cold smoking of the bacon a go. I think when you're hot smoking bacon, yeah, it gets a smoky flavour and it's great. But I think that when you've cured your pork belly and then you smoke it, I tend to smoke like my pork belly like every other day for like 3 days, about 12 hours a day, and I think the smoky flavour you can really get into that, like just absolutely just destroys anything I've ever had before.
Yeah, I've never had bacon that's as smoky as your cured bacon. That's really lush. You can just smell the smoke from it when you open the fridge door.
Yeah. It actually, just smokes the rest of my food in the fridge just from being in there. What sort of stuff are you doing with your charcuterie then? What sort of things are you into at the minute? Salamis and stuff like that, or okay?
Yeah, I've got a huge brisket a couple of weeks ago, and I made so I cured it. I made half into pastrami, where you smoke it and then steam it, and I did half salt beef, which is more of a boil. I actually preferred the salt beef. I thought that was really, really tender. It got the flavour from the cure, and you didn't miss the not smoking it. I found that really, really good, and then made it into a Reuben sandwich, so a bit of rye bread, mustard, pickles, sauerkraut, and that was really good.
I have to say, salt beef sandwich, like a proper you literally cannot be. I had one on Brick Lane once. It's like a really old school sort of a bakery on Brick Lane. I don't know what it's called, but it's right up the end near the crossroads where Brewdog is and stuff like that. And do you know when you walk past somewhere there's like a huge queue, and you just know that for there to be a huge queue, it's like a simple bakery, like probably like a few things on the menu, looked like nothing great, but the queue is literally wrapped around the inside and out the door. And I thought, well, they've got to be serving something good in there. So I queued. I didn't even know what it was. Queued up, and then as I was getting to the fact, it was salt beef sandwiches, and it was salt beef bagels. Sorry, and it was absolutely knock your socks off, incredible. I was blown away. It was absolutely delicious. So I haven't actually given salt beef a go, so I will give that go, and pastrami. So that'd be awesome.
Yeah, great. I think what we just said there actually as well is something I wanted to touch on about menu choices. Just keep it simple. If anybody's thinking about doing event catering or street foods, which I hope people do, keep it really simple. 3 or 4 options. That's all you need. If you're doing well, people come, and people want that. I think if I see anybody doing 7, 8, 9 options at one of these events, I think, how are you doing that?
Have you got time to do all of that?
Definitely, yeah. So, but my plans in the future about doing it a little bit bigger scale, but I'd still keep it really simple, keep my menu options down to just a small number of really one things.
I mean, some of the most successful and like the best reputation barbecue restaurants in America literally have one thing on the menu, and say pulled pork, for instance. Yeah. And your only choice is with sauce or without sauce. Like that would be your only choice. Like there's only one thing on the menu. We're doing it great. Best pulled pork in the world, and that's all we're doing. And I think that really speaks volumes. I think for instance, a lot of them again, they may have like brisket and pulled pork, and they're the only 2 things on the menu. So I think that's fantastic. I think if you're going to do something well, and you're going to do it, and you're going to do it really well, you've got a really limited menu, but actually everything on the menu is going to be knock your socks off great. So there you go.
Absolutely. And also, I've done things in the past where they've not turned out as well as I wanted. So I've either given them away or chunked them away. I don't want to put anything out that's not great quality. And I think if people want to try it, you can just say, "Well, it's not worked out. Have it." that sort of thing. I think don't put anything out that isn't good enough, isn't up to your standards.
Yeah, it's good to set yourself a good standard.
Yeah.
Do you have like a barbecue hero of your own?
I don't personally. I wouldn't say so. I like Dr. Barbecue. I like his recipes. I think they're great recipes. I met him about a year back, and he was really interested in what I was doing as well, which was really nice to know. And he was asking me about the recipe, giving me some advice, and that was a really, really good experience to meet him. But I've got 3 or 4 of his books, and I don't think there's a bad recipe amongst them.
No, he seems like a really good... Everyone that we speak to that's ever met him only has, like, amazing stuff to say about him, and he seems to be, like, incredibly supportive of, like, the barbecue community. Everyone, like, from someone like yourself who was just starting out things possibly when you spoke to him, and, like, he really helped the guys from Grill Stock start off what they were doing, and it's helped bring it to, like, one of the... Well, an absolute massive festival in Bristol, so... He really, really wants to do a lot for the barbecue community, and he seems like a really great guy, so that's cool.
Yeah, and he's a Chicago Bears fan, which also helps.
What about when it comes down to like brining? If you've got chicken, do you go for a brine or not a brine?
I've tried it. I've tried chicken thighs with a brine and without. I didn't find a massive difference. I don't find a huge bit difference in that.
Mm-hmm.
I've also tried injecting. Again, I think if you get a small piece of brisket, I think injecting can help get a decent sized brisket. I don't think it needs it. I've tried injecting pork butt. I think it can add flavour, but I don't think it really does much to the end result. So with brining, it's something that I'm open to trying it. I'm not massively converting to thinking it's essential. Even with Christmas, I did a load of turkeys. I've tried it with and without, and I think if you're cooking it well, I didn't find a huge difference.
Yeah, cool. I mean, we've
been
sort of
trying it a bit lately, haven't we?
Yeah.
You did a lot of testing on chicken last week, didn't you?
Yeah, it seems to be like loads of people. We're testing loads at the minute, and like just like trying to build up some recipes, and I think before you put a recipe out, you got to really try everything out and different variables and stuff. And yeah, I've been trying brining, and actually, like on a blind test the other day with me and 2 members of the family. Every single one of the brines won against, I did like 3 different brines and one lot not brined at all, with all of them with the same rubs but about 6 different rubs, and all of the brines scored higher than all of the non-brines, which was interesting, considering like, and I'm all for blind testing. I hate going and saying these ones have been brined, and I think that as soon as you say stuff like that, people start thinking, oh yeah, it's a little bit saltier or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So they start immediately trying to build up in their head that, oh yeah, I don't like this one. Or like say if
to find the difference in it. If you go, this one's brine, this one's not brine, it's like, don't really make a difference.
This one's turkey mince. Oh this is a little bit drier actually. Or like, I don't like turkey, and you start thinking about stuff like that. So I think blind testing is the way to go. And actually the brines on that day won on the non-brines. So I've been working on the brines a bit more. But that's just personal, and out of the people that we spoke to, it's sort of been like 50-50 out of like who does and who doesn't. So it's one of those things that's like it's up to you, and like you either do or you don't.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's like everything, isn't it? Some people prefer the with the brisket. I get people who have tried it and they prefer the flat end, and I get people who prefer the point. It's just people pick up what they like, don't they?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm a banter end guy, but that's just me. I wanted to ask you, what's happening in the barbecue world around you? Are there sort of many barbecue joints around you, or what's happening?
Well, Sheffield is sort of 10 minutes away from me. There's a Reds opening soon. There's I think a Longhorns I noticed, which is a chain I've not heard of before. They're opening. There's already about 4 different barbecue places, so it's busy. It's taking over in Sheffield.
Cool.
Just down the road, Chesterfield, I think this place is doing it. I've been to some of them around. I like to try most of them, and I've had some really, really good food. Really, really good food. It's there's probably the the whole kitchen, commercial kitchen, restaurant experience that everybody's had. Some of it's great, some of it's okay. Some of it you could probably do better yourself. It's like that. But there are some really, really good places knocking about. Don't know when the saturation point's going to come, but it's also helping me. It's helping me in terms of people. About a year ago, were asking me what a brisket was, and now everybody seems to know. Everybody's tried it.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
It's getting really, really popular.
You mentioned earlier on that you do some work with like a craft beer company or something down the road, didn't you? We like drinking our beers as well whilst we're barbecuing. You got any recommendations on good beer and barbecue combos?
There's so many. It's a bottle shop just down the road from me. It's called the Beer Stop in Dronfield, and it's got 350 beers on, anytime bottle beers, canned beers. So I'm working my way through them.
Someone's got to do it. It's a hard job.
It's terrible. It was my birthday last week, actually. Now, I think I've got 18 different beers in my fridge at the moment. So yeah, that's great. But a personal favourite for me is to go for a black IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Black IPA, really, it's a dark beer, but it's got all the IPA hoppiness. I think that works fantastically with any barbecue.
Yeah.
Beavertown do one in London. They do a really, really good black IPA. Thornbridge has got a great black IPA. But there's some fantastic brewers, really good brewers knocking about, and I think it's something that if you can. I mean, when I work down there, it's just a match made in heaven. It's beer and barbecue, and people spend hours sat there eating and drinking, and then they drink a bit more and come back and eat a bit more. It's just great. It's a great day out. So, yeah, the whole craft beer scene. I know it's something that has been around for a while now, but it's huge up here. I know that, and I know it's something that the quality of beer that people are drinking is just getting better and better.
Yeah, these craft beer places now are just making such good beers. It's like people prefer those now, don't they? No one's going to the big I
guess going back to what I was saying there, like at the start about like local produce and like people are willing to pay for quality and stuff like that. And I actually think that we're actually turning like full circle here in our lives or I am anyway, where I'm avoiding the supermarkets as much as I can. Yeah, I'm going to put my hands up. Yeah, I still go to the supermarkets every now and again. And yeah, sometimes get some really good stuff from them. But I'm actually using local farm shops, local butchers. I mean, when someone says to me, who's your local butcher? I actually have like 4 or 5 local butchers. But because sometimes on a day when I want something, someone might not have something. And if it's specific for a cook, then I have to go somewhere else. But actually, I communicate with all my butchers and I actually have a really good relationship with all of them and just sort of pop in from now and again and just pick things up that they're doing that I like. And I think we've gone full circle where we're moving away from that sort of consumerism of these big supermarkets and we're going back to buying local produce and caring about where our food comes from. And that goes with the craft beers as well, like who's making these beers and what's going into them and actually looking into the flavours a bit more than actually just drinking beer and getting drunk and actually looking at that's always part of it, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to put that down, but at the same time drinking something that tastes absolutely awesome at the same time, which is cool. Yeah, definitely it's all about quality, I think, isn't it? And it's about enjoying it. Yeah, so what's next for you then, Luke? What's next in life for you? Well, I'm hoping now. I've not signed on the dotted line, but I'm hoping I'm very close to getting a place of my own, which will be revolve around beer and barbecue. So it will be craft beer and also barbecue. So I'm just putting in the final stages of that. So that'll be from the summer. So Worth can have a phone call from me or a visit any day, where I'll say that I'm not going to be back in September. And yeah, so it's a massive step now to get my own place. Have you just told us that before you've told your work that? Is that? I have. Yeah.
Hopefully they're not going to be listening.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know you first.
Yeah, I hope there's no closet barbecue fans and senior team, actually. But that's going to happen at some point soon. So yeah, we'll see really what direction that takes. I think at first, I'm going to take it step by step. I'm not going to say I'm going to start competing with Grill Stock and Reds or anything like that. I think it's just going to be a local place that does good quality food and drink.
Cool. We'll look forward to catching up with you in the future. Then once you've got that sorted, we'll get you back on and find out what it's like to get to the next level up.
Yeah, and we're doing a little bit of a mini barbecue tour of the UK, trying to build up our... So we'll pop in sometime. Once you get up and running, give us a message. We'll pop in and try some of your meat, Jazzy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's great. And I think, what you're doing with this podcast, fantastic. I've really enjoyed listening to it over the last few weeks. I feel inadequate compared to some of your guests, really, in terms of the people you've had on. But it's...
who are we to have a podcast? I mean, like we feel inadequate every week because we're talking to you guys who are all absolutely awesome, and we're just two guys from Devon who just go outside and have a barbecue. Like
we eat lots of food.
Eat lots of barbecue food. Like who are we? But anyway, yeah, no, it's awesome to have you on, Luke. It's been great to have you on, and we've actually gone over our hour mark, so I'm gonna have to call it a day there. But thank you very, very much for coming on, Luke. It's been great chatting to you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
Thank you very much.
Before you go, Luke, do you want to tell people where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. You search King Brisket Time, if I can even say my own business name. And I'm on Twitter as well, but at the moment, because I'm actually juggling work and this business, I'm not massively active on there. But yeah, if you get on my Facebook page, come and say hello. Hopefully, if there's anybody around the local area, pop in when I've got an event.
Cool. And Luke, are you part of like the Countrywood Smoke community or anything in the UK?
I read some of these messages and things like that, to be honest, but I don't tend to get involved. Just should.
All right, no worries. Thank you very, very much for coming on, and yeah, cheers. Good luck with everything, and we'll definitely catch up with you in the future.
Thank you very much. Yeah, great to speak to you.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We've recorded yet another awesome podcast to get you over Hump Day. As always, we're brought to you by ProQ and BBQ Gourmet, our awesome sponsors. ProQ is dedicated to providing you with quality smoking products with top-notch service and free advice for beginners to pitmasters. And you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under ProQ Smokers. So if you're thinking about buying your first smoker or looking to upgrade or even look to pick up some epic accessories, check them out over at Max Barbecue. And BBQ Gourmet is devoted to promoting real barbecue and supplying the UK and Europe with top championship-winning barbecue rubs, sauces, marinades and accessories from the United States and around the world. And you can find them on Twitter and online under BBQ Gourmet. So regardless of how you cook, whether it's on charcoal, wood, gas or electric, the real taste of barbecue can be yours all year round. Goodbye from me and...
Goodbye from me.
See you next time.